Bow, 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 bow,
Bow,
bow.
bow, 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 bow.
Now we're at the movies in the South. Southern movies. We're not really doing Southern movies. My name is Bill Bob.
And I'm Cletus, and we're just two old cinephiles, boy. We sure do love our films and watch them from every era. I'll go from the silence. I even go. I've done reviews of oscilloscopes. I think is what they're called, where you look inside of a little machine that you put a nickel into and rotate the thing and see moving pictures. Those were the very first of their kind.
Yeah, like I remember when I was a kid, I was watching the television and I saw the big rooster on television. And
Yeah,
he was a cartoon rooster and he kept saying, I say, well, I say. And it kind of reminded me of my uncle right there.
yeah. That was a good old boy and a real man. And my there were many men in my family who kind of dressed like that with the white suit and the yellow shoes and like a little red bow tie, sort of like the Colonel from KFC almost. Colonel Sanders a little, and nice trim beard and glasses, and would walk around town visiting various establishments and wooing and charming the whole way.
Right. Well, I remember my first time at a movie theater. It
Yeah.
was in the fifth grade. I was at my adult height of 6 feet tall, and I had a big old head. And that head was big and round. And I was playing baseball in the sun, didn't wear my hat, and it got really orange.
Oh
And they
boy.
used to call me Big Pumpkinhead.
I
And
remember.
you remember? I remember. So Big Pumpkinhead would walk into the movie theater where no one could see me because I've never been to one before.
They're dark
They're
inside.
dark, and I just saw my first time I saw the movie Ernest Goes to the Camp, and it was good.
Classic. Classic.
It was almost as good as the second time I saw a movie called Free Willy 2.
Free Willy 2. Better than the first one, in my opinion, and more deserving of special DVD release than the original. I don't believe Free Willy 2 ever got a proper DVD release. It might only still just be available on VHS, or maybe you go on the YouTube and watch a recording of it that's of poor quality because it's ripped off of a tape.
Well,
Or
I remember with Free Willy 2, I was watching with my grandma, and
yeah,
she was like, how in tarnation did Willie get captured again? And I was thinking, that's right. That whale gets in a lot of trouble.
sometimes that just happens. People do love those types of animals, and we've heard all the stories about like it what's it called, uh Black Coast or something where all the uh all the orcas are getting killed or are getting enslaved and put through these circus acts for the um, amusement of a live studio audience. And I will tell you this: when I saw that documentary, I was very enraged. But then happened to go to one of those shows where the orcas were doing tricks, and I think it's okay actually. But see, that's the thing. Whatever I happen to see last is how I feel about it. You show me the documentary again, I'm enraged again. I go to another show, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So
Well,
catch me
I don't
on
think Free
whatever
Willy,
day.
I don't know. I don't think it's a documentary.
Well, no, I was talking about whatever black something, Black Coast or Black Whale, Black Mammal, Black Water, something like that. But Free Willy 2 is a different film. You're absolutely right. And you said that was the second movie that you ever saw in the theater.
Right. It was the second movie I ever saw, and it was the first movie that didn't have Ernest in it that I saw.
That you happen to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that my first film that I ever saw was probably The Return of Jafar, which was the second Aladdin sequel, or the Aladdin sequel. And that was an interesting one. And it actually didn't have a proper theater release. Now, see, my mom, she thought that going to the movies was dangerous because she thought that the screen was so big that it emitted all kinds of various sorts of electromagnetic waves that damaged your hearing and your eyesight and your sense of smell and your sense of taste, and even could damage your nerve endings, give you MS. So I was not allowed to go to the movie theater. In fact, no one in the family really was. My daddy would sneak out to see them. He told me years later because he loved the movies as a kid. But anyway,
Right. He married your mom, and he couldn't go to the theater
and
anymore.
he could no longer go. But The Return of Jafar did not have a wide theater release, so it was not shown in the large scale theaters with the screens of that size. The only places that it was shown at were like local low budget theaters with where the screens and the rooms were half the size of a normal sort of movie theater auditorium. So we were allowed to go there, and we still had to wear protective face guards. And she made me put like like aluminum foil on my head to
Right. Maybe some
protect it.
sunscreen too.
Yeah, exactly. And had to eat some kind of strange sort of garlic concoction that was like a voodoo sort of remedy that she got from uh, from the Cajun people or something.
Right. And you had to
But
wear three
anyway,
layers of clothes
three
where
layers.
the last layer had to cover your arms and your legs, and you had to wear gloves.
You remember this, yeah? Because
Yeah, I
there was,
do, because I remember I invited you to my birthday, and
yeah,
you were wearing boxing gloves to the movie
yeah.
theater on my birthday. I was like, why are you wearing those damn boxing gloves?
And
And
then that's when I told you, I said, "Well, look, these screens are dangerous. Hasn't your mama told you about them screens?"
well,
And
see, no, I don't think so. I just think I've never seen someone walk into the theater with boxing gloves, and they're like, you were saying that you outgrew your old pair of gloves, so you had to
yeah,
take your daddy's boxing gloves.
these were my daddy's boxing gloves. I'll actually tell you the truth. See, I told my mom we were going bowling for your birthday. And when she found out later that we went to go see a full scale production with a large movie screen and that all I happened to bring were boxing gloves for protection, she made me quarantine inside the house for months. I couldn't even leave my bedroom. She wouldn't allow me to. She'd have my father dress up in like a raincoat and like a protective face gear and slide a plate with food underneath the crack of my door.
Yeah, no,
Cause
I
she,
remember because I remember going to your house, and
yeah,
I was always wondering, why is there a little tiny door in the bottom of all your doors that you could
yeah,
just open from the bottom? And then you told me that you could slide food through there, and
right.
that happens after every time you go to the movie theater.
Yeah. Well, see, eventually what my mom said was, look, I'm not you're old enough to the point where I can't just watch you everywhere because I told her I love movies. When we went on your birthday, I believe that we watched what was it? As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson. An interesting movie choice for 10-year-olds, but still very good. And I told my mom, I love movies and I'm not going to stop going to see them. I don't care. She said, all right, fine. You can go whenever you want. But if you do, you're going to stay up in your room quarantine because I am not exposing this family to radiation sickness. So I said, all right, that's the deal. So I kept going to the movies and I kept having to stay in my room. I existed in two separate rooms throughout my teenage years, my bedroom and the movie theater. And eventually, what my dad did was he built this sort of like a girl. What do you call it?
Well, I mean, it seemed like he built a sliding out
Yeah,
of your window that got you down from the second floor.
there was
And
that, and then there was this dumbbell type thing that they loaded up a plate with food on it in the kitchen, and then I could pull it up with a little pulley system and a rope. And then once I was done with the food, put it back. It was this little shaft that my dad cut out in the wall where we could build that. And I had a special system for going to the bathroom up there in my room. And when the containers that would hold my urine and feces became overfilled, I would put those in that dumbbell system and lower that down to the kitchen for them to clean up. Now, but for all the stuff that every time that they handled anything that came out of my body or that I touched, even, they would wear special protective clothing. So there were a lot of hazmat suits and special kind of scientific lab technician type clothing that you may have remember seeing when you came over to the house. Very, very
yeah,
interesting.
because I remember I was so puzzled. Like, okay, well, so you don't have a bathroom, and the only room you can stay in is your house.
Right.
So I remember for your birthday, you told everyone to bring you one big package of emollient wraps, emollient little towels, these little moist towels that you could
Right.
take a shower with
Yeah.
instead of because you couldn't access the shower in your house.
I mean, yeah, I was getting awfully stinky. And I would go to the movie theater, but after about 6 months of not taking a shower or a bath and sleeping in my urine soaked room, I go into I through the front doors of the theater and they said, son, we're going to have to turn you right back around and send you home. We can't have you in the auditorium stinking up the place. We could smell you from a mile away, boy. And I sure did stink. And then that's when I asked you to bring over some moist towelettes so I could at least catch, the new Toy Story.
Nah, every time we went to our friend Chester's barbecue place,
Mm,
you know how they always have the little towelettes. I remember you
yeah.
took like a whole bunch of them and you
Oh,
just
yeah.
put them in your backpack and said, "Thanks, Chester." And then you were very excited to be able to take a shower that day.
Yeah. And because that meant that there was the 100% chance I was not going to get turned away at the movies because that was one of my favorite things to do. That's why I co-host this show with you, Bill Bob, because I love movies and I think it's important to give that little backstory. I'm still not allowed to go home for Christmas to see my family.
Did
And
you just
my
wait out the door while they close the screen?
No, they don't even want to do that. She does not want me in her life
Wow.
because at this point she
Wait,
knows
so
that
do your siblings, do they watch movies or do they just abstain from movies to
they watch them on the small screen. That's perfectly fine. But
right?
they ain't never been to a movie theater, and my mama knows that's one of my favorite places to go is the movie theater. And even though I now have my own kids with my wife, she does not want them in her life either because she just sees them as an extension of me and of
Well, because
not
they go to the movie theaters too.
they do, and she figured that, and so very against going to movie theaters. But see, I'll tell you this, Bill Bob, I love the movies, and I love the movie theaters. I love the popcorn. I even got myself a bucket. They had a special little deal where if you show up and instead of a bag, you ask for a popcorn bucket, they put on a special green sticker. If you pay a little extra, you
Yeah,
can
no, I
bring,
I remember that because every time we go to the theater, you bring your bucket,
I bring a
and
bucket.
every time you use the bathroom, you say, "Hey, Bill Bob, could you hold on to my bucket while I go to the bathroom?" And so,
Now,
yeah.
that's right. And nowadays, I actually bring 2 or 3 buckets because I'm so used to having, even though I now live in a house with a shower and a bath, I'm just used to using moist towelettes, and it gives me kind of a sense of comfort. And I'm so used to my ritual, having done it throughout my teenage years, of showing up to the theater and stripping down in the bushes and just wiping myself off with them moist towelettes right before going in so that I was nice and clean for the show.
Right, you
So,
wanted to ensure because if you did the moist towelettes at your house, you don't know if someone, was
right.
carrying around a big milkshake, would trip and
Yes.
fall and it hit your face.
And that did happen to me. And after that happened, I said, never again. And so this is just what I do. If you hear a rustling in the bushes as you're approaching the theater, that's probably me, stripped down to my skivvies with moist towelettes, wiping them all over my naked torso.
No,
And that
and I remember it was so jarring because we have our friend owning the movie theater, and he was like, "Look, Cletus, look, like you could just go into the changing room. We know you, and you could just do it there, or you could do it somewhere else, but you just have to do it in the bushes all the time."
I said that's it's a comfort thing for me. It's
And it's
got it's
uncomfortable for everyone else.
well, and I recognize that, but I'm usually pretty careful about it. Now I come to the theaters with my kids and I have them kind of stand guard while I go in there. And, if someone's coming kind of close to the bush, they say, "Excuse me, sir, my daddy's in there wiping himself off. Can you please go the other way and you won't be disturbed?" And they understand. But so that's why I come to the theater now with 2 or 3 buckets. I have my popcorn bucket, which I'm going to load up with popcorn once I get in there. And I have my buckets of moist towelettes that I carry around. And so people see me around town. I'm usually carrying at least 3, 4, 5 buckets because I'm always going back and forth to the theater and I'm always getting ready to wipe myself down with moist towelettes in the bush. People started calling me Buckethead. So they called you Pumpkinhead. They called me Buckethead now.
No, I believe, yeah, you're moving them 36 chamber of Shaolin style where
Yeah,
he's moving the water in the buckets. You're doing that with moist towelettes,
that's right.
and
I have to balance things.
sometimes in your buckets, I just see a bunch of limes. Just
Well, you got to be careful with getting scurvy. I did get that as a teenager. I think because the food that was getting sent up to my room, my mama, I believe, wanted to punish me by not giving me enough vitamin C and treating me like a pirate. And that's what she said. She said all pirates stink and all pirates get scurvy, and that's exactly what's going to happen to you.
no, yeah, she really didn't want you in that theater.
She didn't want me in that theater. I was fortunate enough that she let me stay in the house at least till I was about 16. But that's the thing. I carry around limes because I am paranoid about getting sick from not having enough citrus.
No, I see. I know that because every time I'm there, I get like a drink. You want to squeeze a lime in there because you always have that
Yeah,
knife out. You always cut it, and you always have that little citrus squeezer,
that's
or
right.
you want to squeeze some lime onto the popcorn, and I always say no because I just
And I don't know. I mean, I do think that you ought to try it someday. My son loves it. He loves everything that his daddy does. In fact, now he's starting to go into the bush and wipe himself down with me in there.
well, I mean, it makes sense. I guess if you see your dad do it, I guess you do it
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know. I mean, and he's still kind of young enough. I'm sure when he gets a little older, he'll probably stop doing that. But he's only like 5, so it's kind of a natural thing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
these are,
my favorite thing to do at the theater while we're waiting, while you're wiping yourself off, is I'm playing that Mortal Kombat cabinet right
oh
there.
yeah,
The Mortal Kombat 3, the game we're really good at. That
and that sure is a lot of fun. You got pretty damn good at that game. I don't know if you were top tier in the world, but definitely top tier in the town. I think we
Well,
can say that with certainty.
I like how you use Reptile because he's a green ninja, similar to how
Oh
you like
yeah.
limes. He said you said he reminds you of a lime.
That is why I decided to use him. That's right. And I also loved seeing the Mortal Kombat that came out, not the first, but the second one. I believe that was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. We
Oh,
saw we saw that in the movie theater. That was a good picture.
well, it's good if you think it's good in an ironic way because it wasn't very good to me.
Well, but see, I like some of. I mean, any kind of movie that's based on a game. It don't matter what the critics say. I love it, and I want to see more of it. Personally, I love the first Mario movie, even though that got panned. And I also loved all the Resident Evil movies and any other ones that have come out that people say are not that good. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
What about
That
Doom
was
with The Rock?
that was fantastic. I love that movie so much. Went and saw it 5 nights in a row. In fact,
Now
used a,
you
used a
were
lot of moist towelettes throughout that time because I would get so excited in the theater I'd start to sweat, and so I'd be having to wipe myself off before going in, and then having to wipe myself off right after coming out because I was so sweaty and greasy from all the excitement I was having. But that was a great movie. Doom, God, I like that one.
Yeah, I think you're an interesting fella because you love the movies based off of games, but you also love games based off of movies.
I
Like
sure do.
you love that King
Love.
Kong the
Oh
movie
yeah.
game.
RoboCop, love that one. Die Hard. Oh, those are some great games. And those are really the only games that I will play.
Right, Batman Returns.
Oh yeah. Batman Forever. The Ace Ventura handheld pet detective game. Love that one. I
Yeah,
still play that. That's fun. I'll bring that into the bush with me. Kind of be playing that like I'll be playing one-handed while I'm wiping down with Chester's barbecue towel.
well, I, yeah, I mean Chester has been complaining to me all day, like, there are like 7 other barbecue places in the area,
Well, and I
and
told
we're
him
not the only
that
ones with moist toilet towelettes.
now, see, I talked with Chester about this one day. I came in, ordered my usual half rack, and sat down and was proceeding to start to put all the moist towelettes I could see around. I mean, there are some that were already used, but they weren't that dirty, and they're sitting on people's tables. I said, "Sir, excuse me, I'm trying to get a collection going here as I use these to clean my body. Can I maybe grab that from you instead of you putting it on your plate?" And they say, "Sure." And I just take them into the bathroom, wash them off a little bit, and they're just good as
Yeah,
new.
no, because
And
I remember when we had certain events happen and you couldn't leave your house that you had to like re-soap up your towelettes. Like
I had, yeah,
you couldn't take a shower directly. You got to put the stuff on the towelettes and then wash yourself.
there were a lot of different procedures that I had to do. And I explained all this to Chester as I was going around the tables in his establishment and kind of sort of interrupting people's meals to say that I needed to use their, towelettes, or if they hadn't used them yet, to please not get them too dirty, as I plan to collect them and use them on my body later. And he didn't really appreciate that so much. And he came up to me and told me to go sit back down at my table, stop bothering his customers. I said, "Well, look, you understand what I'm doing this for. You know my whole situation and how my mama feels about the movie theater screens." And he said he did, but just what you just were saying, there's other barbecue establishments around where you could be doing this. Why do you always come in here? And I told him, that's what you don't understand. I do go around to all the other ones. I just go around to all of them so much because that's all I eat is barbecue from these places. And that's all I'm going to because I'm constantly getting these moist towelettes that even though you don't know I'm going around to the other ones, I'm over at yours so much in the rotation that it seems like I'm only going there.
Right.
I'm
And
going to multiple barbecue restaurants a day to get towelettes.
no, I remember because you mentioned that to Chester too, that because Chester offered to take you to the restaurant depot, kind of wholesale store to buy them wholesale,
Yeah,
and you told them you were already doing that.
I was
Uh,
doing that too. And
and through
it
eBay
just,
too. You were buying Amazon, eBay. You buy them all the time whenever they're on sale.
I buy them all the time. I'm cleaning myself up. I mean, right now, as we're recording this, I got about 10 or 12 towelettes sitting on my body underneath my shirt and pants.
No, I remember you told me that for 30 days in a row you watched Return of Jafar backwards while washing yourself with moist towelettes.
That's right. Is again a comfort thing. And that's the thing, like people now, when I go to see a movie, people usually they recognize me from a mile away because I got those buckets I'm carrying around for one thing, and there's no one else that walks around with buckets. And I typically get a whole row in the theater to myself because no one wants to be around me and my kids as we're sitting on in the seats or standing up and rubbing ourselves down with these towelettes in the movie theater now too. I
Well,
mean,
because
there's not
I
really.
remember, I remember, and this might be too much information to the audience, but you met your wife through
That's
a
right.
forum where people wash themselves with moist towelettes.
That's right. There's a whole community of us. And while her reasoning for doing that was not because of her growing up where her mom was afraid of electromagnetic radiation from movie theater screens, um, she still had her own very logical reasons as to why she did that as well. And it's a compulsion thing, but it's a comfort thing too. And the two of us use more moist towelettes, as do our kids, than entire states within a year. We've been told this. And they've been wanting to do a Guinness Book of World Records article on us for a while now. And I'll just say, look, feature me in the movie, the Guinness the Guinness movie of World Records. I'll be in your movie, and then I'll go see it in the theater, and then that's when we'll take care of this. I
Because
don't want I
see,
don't want to be in no book.
well, I mean, the audience does not understand how bad the moist towelette situation is. Because let
Maybe
me let
not.
me explain it. Because I remember I was walking in to your house, your new renovated, beautiful house,
Yeah,
right? That's got an extra room on the second story.
that's right.
And you took me to this room, and it's basically a big file cabinet,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you open the file cabinet, and you see moist towelettes from certain years
That's
that you
right.
pick. And you
We.
cataloged all the ones that you use, and you catalog what day you use them,
That's right.
what
What?
movie,
Right.
what time,
Mm-hmm.
and
The showing and right exactly. And I usually and that's how I got into movie reviews because I started by cataloging all the moist towelettes, putting them in these file cabinets and writing little notes. On March 10th, went to go see um, Blade 2. Used about 120 or maybe 125 moist towelettes before, during, and after the show. Very excited. Great movie. And then I began to think, what if I went a little further into what I thought about the movies here? And I mean, usually in the reviews that I give now, there's some kind of reference to these towelettes that comes out, but I do try to focus more on the movie. And
well,
so,
because what happens with his reviews, by the way, see, like we both have different styles of writing,
yeah,
and for him, I feel like he has a moist towelette counter on the side of the newspaper for like every moment of the movie, where he'll put in parentheses 5, meaning he used 5 moist towelettes when
right.
this scene happened. Or this
Yeah,
half showed it.
that's right. And I even have a rating system where, whereas you might say 4 out of 5 stars, I say 4 out of 5 moist towelettes during this particular period of the film. And then I add everything up together and give a mean, median, and mode of all the data of moist towelettes. And that's in a full report that the public gets so that they understand whether or not they should go see this film.
Yeah, and I just do review movies the conventional way by just watching the movies and giving you some sort of opinion about them. So we have a different point of view
We have a
sometimes.
different point of view. And I might be approaching a particular film where I really just am thinking about that moist towelette factor. And that's something that you don't necessarily think about yourself. And that's okay, because you don't have to. But that's why we have me around to bring that sort of coverage because it is needed. And I'll tell you this, the community that I mentioned earlier, they really appreciate it. And they tell me that. And I get letters usually with that are kind of wet because they're probably using the moist towelettes as they wrote them. Or sometimes they include a fresh one as kind of a token of appreciation to me. I always cherish those. And they just tell me how much my reviews mean to them. And that's why I'm here, folks. That's what I do it for.
That's true. I look, when you watch Crocodile Dundee with your friend that you've known for so long and he goes through 200 moist towelettes within the knife scene, you know it's an interesting movie.
Absolutely. That's kind of the litmus, I suppose you could say, that where you understand how good a movie is and what scenes were the best. Like in the particular scene in Deliverance, where they do something to poor old Ned Beatty, as you know about that, where I think it's John Voight is tied to a tree and has to watch. God damn. I probably go through about 300 moist towelettes.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we watch horror movies separately because those moist towelettes go out of control when you do that.
Yeah, they are flying around. Again, that is why I'm sitting in a row by myself. Even if I go by myself, doesn't even have to be with my kids. Sometimes
Right.
I get 2 whole rows to myself because those towelettes have a pretty long distance that they're flopping around from.
I mean, when we're watching some of those like Jackie Chan movies, you go through them
Oh my
because they're
God.
stunts. Like you are, when he's
Yeah.
falling through the sky and landing on the ground, you're just like, well, got to
I
bust
mean,
myself up.
in as I get older, and it's like what I'm doing right now. I mentioned this. I'm sitting here with about 10 moist towelettes against my skin underneath my shirt, and about 20 or so against my leg skin underneath my jeans. And that is what I'm trying to do more of now, as opposed to sitting, stripping down, and wiping myself off during these films. So that instead I just kind of sit there normally. But see, it's just not that effective still. And when I get so excited, I'm going to have to just, take off, get down on my skivvies once again, go to town again with one of my favorite things in the entire world, besides movies.
Right. I mean, honestly, man, if you didn't basically fund the college tuition of our friend who owns the movie theater, I don't even know if you'd be allowed in there with
Well,
doing your practices.
yeah, I mean, that was a choice. I'll tell you, I married rich. My wife is the daughter of an oil magnate, and this was why she has the compulsion to use these moist towelettes herself, because she always felt like she had oil on her skin, because she was told at a very young age, "Boy, you got so much oil around here." They're addressing the entire family. You probably got it coming out of the pores of your skin. And she took that to heart, thought it was true. And so ever since then, she's been using moist towelettes to the not quite same degree that I do, but close. Anyway, she
Well,
was left with,
I just feel like you should get like some sort of sponsorship that maybe the guy could help save you money and save your friendship with Chester and some of the other people.
Well, I'm working towards that. There's a good amount of different moist towelette brands out there, and now there's some I like more than others.
Well, see, do you have a particular brand you use or brands that you don't use for moist towelettes?
Um, I like the more versatile products now, whereas my wife, she will sometimes gravitate towards those that are intended purely for feminine hygiene, if you get my drift. I'm not really too much a fan of those. And I just like the universal ones, the ones that can be used for that, but can also be used for a man's butthole and to make his penis fresh. And I'll tell you this. Now, this is going to sound a little weird, but I do taste the moist towelettes as well. And there are some that taste better than others. And while I'm sitting there watching A Bug's Life, I might have a moist towelette in my mouth that I'm sucking on while I got the others going up and down my arms and legs and feet and
Well,
toes.
that's part of the review, right? Is that you watch the movie, you use the moist towelettes, and then you taste them to.
I taste them to see how it all came out. And there are some that taste better than others, but I don't, I mean, sometimes I taste them right away because I really want to just have that in my mouth. I might put two up each nostril. I tried putting two in my ears, but then I couldn't really hear as well. So I don't do that as much, but I do like to wipe out my ears with them towelettes.
Yeah, well, you know, so basically, we are Cletus and we're Bill Bob, and clearly Bill Bob is well, not Bill Bob, Cletus.
Yeah, you're Bill Bob.
I'm Bill Bob, and Cletus over there, he's got some issues
Well, I
that
don't
we.
know if you call them issues. What I do have are tissues. That's a little joke.
I hope you enjoy our movie show. We're going to talk about certain movies. I think Cletus really likes sequels to certain movies like Return of Jafar
Free
or
Willy 2,
Free Willy 2 or
Cars 2,
Air Bud, the one that isn't the original basketball one,
right where he plays football, receiver.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation, some of his
That's
favorite,
right.
the Batman and
Dumb and
Robin.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Right. So we might review some of those. I guess if we have serious movies, Ethan and Justin are probably going to review them and not us. But yeah, that's our show.
Thank you very much for having us, and we'll be bringing you so much more commentary as we go.